Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this game of Supreme Ruler Ultimate. We are going to be continuing with the Dutch in the run-up to the Second World War. So, it is currently 1937. We spent most of 1936 trying to build up our industry and our factories using all of the free resources I gave myself as a result of our efforts in the First World War. And we have just been working on getting ourselves out of debt since doing that, because it cost us rather more money than I'd kind of anticipated to get everything up and running. But most of it now is, we are still 600 million in debt, but that's down from 1.7 billion. So we are recovering. We're recovering actually pretty decently. We've massively reduced the amount of stuff we are now building. We're still waiting for one or two things to finish, but generally things are going pretty well. The other thing which I should mention is still happening is I am still getting encoding overloads. So if the game starts to shutter and to slow down a lot, please tell me so I can reset the recording and maybe even the stream if I need to. I don't know what's causing it. I'm hoping to start looking for a new graphics card in the next month or two. Next week or two even. But that's obviously going to take me time to sort out, because I'm getting increasingly convinced it's the graphics, so we'll see, and it's time I upgrade it anyway, and hopefully that fixes everything. So that is what is happening at the moment. I've closed down virtually everything else in the background. I was still getting encoder issues during Hearts of Iron, which I have never had before. So if there are still issues, I apologize. I am aware of the fact. Please tell me if it's happening, and I'll see if I can reset stuff and hopefully make it work more smoothly. Right, with that out of the way, let's unpause. I mean, we're basically going to be going on very fast because we are more or less just waiting for time to pass while we are building up our forces. What's the current card? G4 780. And it's lasted me really, really well for the last 4 years, but I do need a new one. Supreme Ruler uses lots of CPU. Yeah, CPU is not the issue. I have an i7 CPU, although it does use like 100%. The thing which might also be the issue is memory. I had a really hard crash yesterday when I was trying to render things, which is why I was thinking it was the GPU as well, because rendering takes up a lot of GPU, which might suggest it's a memory corruption. If anyone knows any ways of investigating that, do let me know and I'll take a look. But yeah, something is going wrong. Again, yeah, encoding overloaded. There is definitely something up with my rig right now, and I just don't know what it is, and I don't know how to solve it. It's really annoying. Right, so we are building aircraft. In fact, we have an aircraft that needs to be reserved. My goal right now is to get out of debt before any wars break out. Well, European wars. Japan and China are already fighting, and in fact it kind of looks like Japan is on the losing end. Yeah, China's already smashing their way through Korea with Fentiang, or whatever it's called in this, Manchuria, already having been beaten. So Japan not looking too hot right now. China definitely got the upper hand. But elsewhere things are pretty peaceful. We do of course have the massive small nation alliance with Denmark, Norway, Sweden. Who else did we have? Yugoslavia, Portugal. Don't think we ever got Spain in it. No, we didn't. And did I get an alliance with France? I think I got a mutual defense with France. Yes, we have a mutual defense with France, so that is good. Oh, and Belgium. Yeah, we have one with Belgium too. Will you allow me to get any other deals? No, you... This is really weird. Like, France like, yeah, you can have a mutual defense, but nothing else. So, there we go. Right, what are you guys? You are just infantry. I think I just told you to move here. You might well have been the guys that arrived late from Indonesia, I would assume. And we are making money again, so I'm going to pay off another loan. Basically, every time we hit 120-ish million, I'll pay off another one, because it's about 20 million per loan at the moment. And if we did need to take another one, my loan limit is currently 49 million. Bearing in mind they went all the way down to 16 million, that really shows you the changes in credit rating. Like, the banks are really happy with me right now, because I actually paid off most of my debt. They're like, oh man, this guy can be trusted. He's really good with finances, apparently. How do colonies work in this? I don't really know. You get a chunk of land, like I do have in Indonesia right now. They are a colony. They apparently don't build soldiers. They apparently don't build industries beyond what they actually need, and any surplus raw materials they produce they send to you. So that is explaining why I am, for example, producing so much petroleum, because a lot of that is going to be coming from Indonesia rather than from the Netherlands. Although I do have my own oil fields, I'm one of the few European countries that does, up in Friesland. But any surplus oil that they themselves are not using is then automatically sent to me, and I can do with it as I please. The other thing is they do have their own budget. They raise money, you can demand money from them. You can basically demand any diplomatic thing from them. Even if it says they will never accept this, they will still accept it. They have to. So you can bleed them for money, which is part of how we got out of debt so quickly, as I demanded a chunk of change from... Wow. Oh, that's how much money they have in their bank. Never mind. Which is why Dutch East Indies is now in debt. Because I basically went, hey, I'm paying off my loans. Paying off my loans. They keep on getting more money somehow. Oh, wait. They're just taking more loans to increase their treasury. Because I was always being like fairly agreeable. I saw they had $1 billion in the bank. I took 500 million of that, used that to pay off my loan. I was like, okay, that's fair. Check back another 6 months later. Oh, they have $1 billion again. I'll take 500 million of that. And then afterwards I noticed, oh, their debt seems to be rising as a result of the money I'm stealing from them. So I have since stopped doing that, but I'd rather my colony was in debt, because they're not going to use the money for anything else, rather than me. And I kind of suspect, though I don't know exactly how they're doing it, that Britain's doing the same with Australia and Canada. Because the UK does not have much debt, but these two do. Same with French Indochina. Yeah, they're 1.1 billion in debt. How? How? Does their debt affect you? I don't think so. It might make them less happy with you, as just demanding stuff randomly would. The raw materials and stuff, that's all automated. They'll never get upset about that, but demanding money from them for nothing in return probably does piss them off a bit. Military factory completed. We have... Oh, we've got a research centre! Get in! Oh, fantastic. One of the research centres in Leiden's done. The other one's done in 5 days' time. Awesome. So we can start spending some more money on technology. Now, one of the things that I did have in the First World War series is I was really doing well technologically. So I did invest a whole bunch of my free starting resources into tech upgrades, and that is exactly what we're going to be using here. You are from 1908. You are terrible. Are there any other ships or anything we want? No, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be pure technology at this point. You're suggesting Tank Tech 1918. I can get Tank Tech 37. Why would I want 18? That makes no sense. Do I even want tanks? What does this lead to? Aircraft construction. Yeah, this is a whole bunch of new planes, and I do want to have a fairly decent air force. The other thing I want is a fairly decent frontline defensive army. I don't really care about bombing right now. Large bore gun emplacements, that would be artillery. And also armour. I do like me some artillery. Especially if that comes with anti-tank. Which it might. I think I am going to get the 37 tank techs. Because in 5 days' time I get my other research station, at which point I'm doing 4 researches at a time, which for a nation my size is huge. What happens if they hate you lots? They can declare independence, so you'll be forced to fight them. Okay, all of those are going. Are we still spending the same amount? Yeah, we have maximum spending on science. My science spending right now is kind of dwarfing my state spending, so like healthcare, education, infrastructure, all that. That is completely dwarfed by my science and development spending right now. And we are in fact losing money again, which is something I will need to be careful about. I was kind of expecting my treasury to be recovering, but if I'm spending more on R&D, then yeah, that kind of makes sense. What is my outgoings? Construction's just 1 million. That's not good. Although you're spending 10 million on social services. Let's reduce that. We're going to go down to 5. So we're spending 10 million a day on tech and 5 million a day on everything else. And there's the other research centre. Excellent. So now we can get that other one. And I think we are probably... large bore guns or metal alloy airframes. We only have the one airbase production, so I'm going to go with the large bore gun advancements for now. I mean, the one that I'm really waiting to finish and that I want emphasized over everything else is the improved power grid. Unfortunately, it's also the one that's going to take absolutely frickin' forever. Because currently my industries are actually really inefficient because of the amount of power deficit we have. And that's due to not having enough power plants. I could build some more. That will obviously cost more. I think I am going to have to build some more. Are there any other areas that don't really have any raw materials? We don't do rubber. Timber, we have a bit of. Oil in the north, so I'm not building there. Coal, we have a little bit in the north. That spot's looking fairly decent right now. Anything on that spot? Nope. Okay, we're going to build it there. So this is going to be coal power. I'm going to build 2 of them. 3 of them. If I have to take a loan for this, I will. It's worthwhile. Because the next power technology will increase my output by 50%, which would increase it up to about here. So we still need more to make up the rest of the deficit. Where am I actually from? I'm from Arnhem. Right there. So I'm kind of saving that one for some Uber, like, space age. If I ever get a, what's it called? Space program. That's all going to be centered in Arnhem. There we go. That's decided. Arnhem's going to be the center of the space race for the Dutch. Labour shortage, 2.6%. Yeah, we are getting some quite serious unemployment problems. Uh-oh. Coup d'etat in Iraq. Okay. That's kind of unfortunate, actually, because Iraq has been really friendly to us. And in Sweden, you are trying to sell me... No, you're trying to buy my military goods for a bunch of money. Slightly under market rates, but I don't sell it to many people, so that's fine. Because that's the other thing, is I did give myself 50,000 military goods, so we are pretty well armed at the moment. And that's probably actually why we're our expenditure is so much higher than it perhaps should be. It's because we are producing a lot of stuff. Hey, Fiddler's Reach. Space stuff can't be built around cities. What? I'll build it there. I'll find something else about Arnhem, don't worry. Alright, we are definitely running out of money, so time to take another loan. Yeah, my deficit is currently 12 million. I really need this industry improvement, which is going to rely on the improved power grids, which is going to rely on these. Yeah, that's 14 million at the moment in science expenditure alone. I could reduce that, but I really don't want to. I'd much rather reduce the state spending, which could bring it down to 7 million, but then infrastructure spending would be down, and that would be bad. Because infrastructure spending is how well supply spreads, and while I've invested a fair amount into supply, the more supply you have, the more efficient your factories and things are being. So especially up here, actually, it would be important to have good supply, because that's where my powers factories are. Same down here in Maastricht. But at least improved monoplane airframes will be ready soon, and that's going to come with new fighter designs, which are all obviously high-tech, they're modern. So we'll see if I can replace my awesome Dutch fighters, which I already had. Although I may not need to. They'll probably still be extremely high-tech for their power, for their quality. More people are investing in their navies. I'm seeing a lot more naval action going on. Haven't seen much of the British, but then I wouldn't, because I don't think we share that. In fact, would you do mutual defence? No. Britain's being extremely isolationist right now. How about you, France, buddy, old chap, old pal? How are you feeling about, you know, more stuff? Transit? I really should have asked for some of this stuff when I got the mutual defence, because I think they would have agreed to it. That's not the one I meant. I meant line of sight. That's the one I really want, so I can see exactly where your troops are. Are there events in the game? Yes, there are. Exactly how they work, I don't know, because I haven't done the World War II scenario, but in the First World War I, yes, there were lots of events. Oh, wow, I take out 50 million a time now. Those debts are rather larger than the ones I had previously, in fact, like twice the size. So that's really shown how much my economy has grown in the meantime. That 16% inflation would also kind of hint towards that. My GDP's gone up to 534. It started around 200 and something. Alright, so the central industrial thing is almost done. These are going to take somewhat longer. How are we doing for industrial goods? We're still running a deficit. Though not a huge one. Oh, wow, we produce almost no consumer goods. Probably because of all of our power output right now is being invested into industrial goods. I mean, that makes sense, but it does mean that we're going to have less income because we're not selling our, like, trade good. And I would, at some point, really like to finish this military goods factory, but there is no point doing that until we have more power. In fact, does it say how much power it uses? Cost, build time, industrial goods, military goods, maintenance, output. No, it doesn't. It only take 11 more days, but there's no point having it. And these consumer goods I also want to finish, though they would take quite considerably longer. And if I get a decent amount of military goods production, then I can start selling them and make a fair amount of profit. In fact, what's the most valuable right now? Consumer goods, you'd make about 500 per piece. You'd make about 400 from industrial and 900 from military goods. So yeah, military goods would definitely be the best sales production thing. You can see how much power is being used overall by what sector. How? Ah, consumption. Yes, you can. Industrial goods, 14,000 megawatts. In fact, the military goods uses almost nothing. That's interesting. I mean, I do have a fair number more industrial goods, but not that order of magnitudes. Just industrial goods take more. Maybe I should finish this, just so we get the military goods production up and running, because it's 11 days away. Do it. The only reason I really turned it off is because I was afraid of how much money it was costing me to build, but my economy is in quite significantly better shape now. So I feel a bit better about doing it. And you keep on trying to up that spending. Thankfully I've locked you away from trying to touch my science spending, because that's not changing! We're doing all the science. Facility construction delayed due to a shortage. That's fine. In fact, it will slow this, so it's not exactly going to be 11 days until it's done. I do wonder what gets the priority. Probably the first things you build. So these three probably have the priority, and then anything left over goes to Hilversum. Hilversum Industries, seller of arms. We're making money. How are we making money? Oh, petroleum sales, probably. But if I need to take another loan, I will. And then I need to hold off again, because I really don't want to be in debt when I'm at war. Bad things happen. Because this is the amount of money I'm spending without a standing army. All of my units are in reserve right now, except for these two who I just forgot. Ah, we're getting some of our elite guards. Awesome. So these guys are seriously hardcore. They are extremely difficult to kill. I was going to put them in Enschede and literally just have them there on garrison duty. There is in fact an entrench button. I want you entrenched in Enschede. Because that's like my furthest outpost towards Germany. And I'm expecting the Germans to come through Enschede because we have a rail connection there. And also up here in Groningen, but one of my barracks is right... No, it's in Zwolle. What's that? That's just supply. I mean, the troops from Zwolle have a bit more time to go north. The troops from Zwolle going to there will take longer, or even longer from Eindhoven. Though the Eindhoven troops are here mostly to help protect the Belgians. Maybe I should build a barracks or something here in the front line. It will cost more though. Swedish subs in Dutch canals. What? Yeah, submarines and other small ships like patrol boats can sail up and down the rivers. You'll see that sometimes. Like, I was actually having trouble in my World War I game because the Germans kept on sailing their patrol boats up and down the rivers and just hitting all of my units I had there. And for some reason, ships do a buttload of damage to land units, and land units do almost nothing in return. So if you lose naval superiority, then you're going to get shelled, and you're going to get shelled hard. Although I'm rather hoping that aircraft are a little more effective in anti-ship operations in this. Labour shortage, still 2.6. And delayed in construction. Yeah, that's fine. So the labour shortages are bad because it's basically driving up the cost of wages because there's more competition for the labour market, which in turn increases the cost of production, which is bad. We want cheap labour. So even though the Netherlands is extremely densely populated, just the sheer weight of industry and development that we've done is taking a toll. And also we've lost a lot of people through emigration. I'm hoping that rate has slowed in the meantime. We're still losing 67,000. I don't know if that's a day or a year or what, but we're definitely losing a lot of people to emigration. Why protect the Belgians when you can swallow Belgium? Because the Belgians are currently my ally. I might swallow Belgium post-World War II, but pre-World War II, where I'm so worried about Germany, I'd rather not. Because Germany is very, very strong. Like a lot of people have said, yeah, Soviet Union and France never even stand a chance against them. It's like, great. So a country my size will do just fine, right? What's the programmers the game didn't look at? Gallipoli. Land artillery beats huge navy. Maybe it's just the World War I artillery isn't very good at armour penetration. Because actually, you're right. In the modern day game that we did, land-based artillery did a lot of damage to my Portuguese ships. You need to reserve. We're actually getting a really nice air force, which makes me very happy. And you are some more guys. I think I might just tell you to entrench over in Groningen. So I'm putting my special forces on the front line, and I'm leaving them there. And actually putting them in the town, which is why they don't appear on the map anymore. They are garrisoned, essentially, but like on-duty garrison. City garrison rather than reserves. And production still delayed. How's this going though? Is that still 11 days? Still 11 days. Alright, I'm going to halt these just very temporarily until the 11 days are done on the military goods production. Oh, once again, we're not producing many industrial goods. Oh no, we've just halved our capacity. Which would rather suggest that we could have like one of these open. I'll turn you on. So are you being built? Still 11 days. Oh crap, money. Need more. Hitler and Mussolini meet in Munich, or in Munn. Hitler and Mussolini have met on the Munn. Oh no! Much speculation abounds and the topics discussed by these two powerful fascist leaders. Obviously not the division of the Netherlands, that would just be cruel and unusual. Gallipoli is World War I. True. Maybe if it was enough of it massed together then it would, but part of the problem is naval artillery has a very, very long range, which not much land-based artillery does, although some does, but it's just more expensive. Like most of the Dutch artillery was actually long range. Maybe I just needed to do that more. Because I had constant problems with naval bombardment. Also, artillery is sodding expensive to fire. That's the main reason I wasn't doing it, actually. I was like, yeah, we'll take a few civilian casualties, that's fine. As long as I don't have to pay for the bullets, it's okay. Then maybe we want some more down here in Hillen. Are we still building special forces? One more. Yeah, we can stick one there, that's fine. Then later on, if things start getting nasty, we'll ramp up the amount of troops we have on active duty, but right now we shouldn't need to. Cool. Oh, German Navy's starting to move. You're a little bit close for comfort there. Look at all the little boats zooming off. Capital ships take a bit longer to launch, but they're going. The Danes having a look around, getting a little bit nervous about this significant German naval movement. Which cap ship is that? Jaguar. As long as it's not the Bismarck, it's fine. Right. How's this going? Are we finishing? Still 11 days. What the actual hell? Why? It's because we're not producing all of our industrial goods. Well, prioritize them. Like, turn these off. In fact, I should totally just turn those off for a bit. That would be you. In fact, there's an easier way. I should just go here, here, turn off all four, and dedicate all of that power to the industrial goods. Right? There we go. Production, full. Marvellous. So I'm going to turn these back on one at a time until I can see just how much power reserve I have. Enschede looks very easily cut offable. Yep, combat does definitely cut off like that. But it has a railroad coming from Hengelo, so as long as I hold on to Hengelo, then it should be alright. And cities are close combat, so they are pretty easy to defend. I mean, that's one of the main benefits the Dutch have, actually, is how much of their nation is urban. And urban fighting is where infantry excel, and I have been building lots and lots and lots of infantry. So hopefully it will be alright. Electric power, actual use. Alright, so we can't really afford that one, so we'll turn you off again. Right, so is this now under construction? 10 days! Huzzah! I wonder how much how many industrial goods it's using a day. Well, we're building up a stockpile at least. So, I mean, is that really going to be using 1,000 a day? It might be. Do I have any engineers? That's another question. The answer is probably.